Yes, I'll do a brief introduction, but otherwise go to the website for all their background. Because last time we had candidates and they gave us introduction, we spent 20 minutes for the introduction. It's like, we don't need to do this. This is Tom Huffman from Annandale. This is Christine Hewsome from Buffalo, and Dwayne Olson, also from Buffalo. So these are the three District 1 candidates that have participated in our process. So, let's jump into questions. Who has a question?
Did you talk about time?
You get 1 minute. And where's my timer?
I'm the timer.
You're the timer. Excellent.
That's why I asked.
1 minute per response. Thank you. Okay. Questions to start with. Here comes the backup timer. Sir.
I want to know what they think about the landfill expansion.
Tom, you're first. 1 minute.
Well, normally landfills and other products like that, or businesses like that, should probably be privately owned. And if the county's involved in it, and they're expanding on private land, or approaching on private land, and whoever that landfill expansion area is going to have to buy that land over out. It's probably should be a private enterprise, and the county shouldn't be involved.
I was at the Veolia meeting last night, and basically to gather the information about it, because I know how I felt about it when they first brought in the recycling plant, and I was not in favor of that. I too believe that it is, should be in the public sector, which Veolia did buy the landfill from Superior, and I believe Superior bought the landfill from the Yonak family in the first place. Yeah, I can definitely see if I was a homeowner that I would not necessarily want that expansion, particularly with smells and the kind of things that were coming out. But at this time, I'm really still in the fact gathering process, so I couldn't make, an educated statement about how I really would feel about it. And this process is going to be a year long where they're gathering all the information. So
Time.
I'm Dwayne Olson. That issue has been brought before a lot of us at some other meetings. My feeling is, and I'm a green person, meaning I recycle everything in my household, have very little that goes out in the garbage. My neighbor does the opposite, and that creates a problem, and I think we need to have government regulation to control it so that we don't pollute the underground water. People, by nature, are probably not as efficient as they should be with garbage and sewer and landfill with different chemicals that get in the ground. We got to have government control on certain things. From there, I hope that people take the voluntary action on their own, not to get rid of some of that garbage that should be, that we can recycle and so on. But there has to be some control, because human nature simply says, I'll just throw it wherever I want to throw it, and that just pollutes our ground, our water, and our air. To answer your question, it's a good question, and I think we have to gather more information if we're elected, that we can come up with solutions to the big issue. It is a big problem for the
Time.
county, Wright County. Thank you.
Next question?
I got a second part to that. If it involves the,
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry. Go ahead. I just want to make sure somebody else has a chance, but I don't see any other hands.
it involves the recycling plant that's been sitting idle for how many years now? That is a sore spot, since everybody in Wright County ended up paying for that damn thing, and it still sits empty. What are your feelings on that? I feel we should get rid of it. It's an eyesore and a burden on the county.
Yes, it's fine. Right.
Go ahead.
Finally, we will have this paid for this year.
I thought it was paid for 5 years ago.
I don't believe so. I believe that this year we will finally have it paid for. And it has been, the concept perhaps was an okay concept in the beginning with, but we didn't have the kind of population to warrant such a thing. And when our commissioners flew to Sweden or whatever to research these plants, I guess that kind of didn't sit well with me from the beginning. And it's been used very little, as to say. We just don't have have the population or, you know, the recycling materials that are coming into that to warrant the facility, in my opinion.
I think that's a perfect example.
Sorry, Dwayne, go ahead, sorry.
I agree with Chris. I guess she's done a lot more fact finding than I have, to be honest. I haven't dwelled on that, but it's certainly an item that the new commissioner board will have to look at, say what do they want to do with it, get rid of it, do they want to use it? What's the population growth, is it worthy of the tax dollars? And a lot of us have paid into the planning fund.
That's all right, good. I think that's a pretty good example of what happens when the county gets involved. If that was a viable project and there was profit to be made out of the recycling center, a private industry, Viola or Waste Management would have come in and lobbied to put one of those plants in. Right now we've got a garbage burner down in Minneapolis that dumps all its residue into downtown. They seem to locate those places in some of the worst places for the environment that you can. As soon as our government gets involved in these things, it could be profit areas. There's enough garbage being generated in our county. Somebody would have come in and said, I'll put in a recycling plant, give us the permits to do it. But it's a perfect example, it's 20 years ago. Everybody's gung-ho about green and how to fix the environment. Most people in this room, I think, are very environmental people. Most people in Minnesota are. We like clean lakes, we like clean water, we like clean air.
Time.
Ma'am.
I just want to give you a little food for thought on this whole issue. Christine, I wanted to be at that meeting last night, but because of the horrendous snow that came off of the landfill on Sunday, and then again on Monday, I had such a headache. There's no way I was going out anyplace. And I called in the hotline on Sunday. Monday, I got a call from Julia, and they said, oh, they told us that this happens again. Well, duh, we've only been doing it for God knows how many years, and they don't do a thing about it. So by Monday afternoon, the wind is still in my direction. It's bringing this crap down, so I call up there, and they come down, and they say, well, let's go see if we can pinpoint where this is at. Well, I pinpointed where it was at, all right, and it's in their cover. And we know this from years back. They use some of the most noxious crap in that cover. They use sludge. And so if you wonder, if you'd like to live by that thing, you're more than welcome to. But you know what, for 45 years, I've had it up to here with it. And as far as that compost plant, the county just about killed us out there on that thing too, with the crap they come in. And I ended up on a inhaler type.
That stuff that they put on the roads when they came to
Yes.
generate that plant, you'd have to roll the windows
Yes,
up
I know.
and down.
They are using it though now for hazardous type materials. And I believe in the winter time or in the summertime, you'll find that there are plows and various things in there now. So it's a good thing that they did not go ahead and let R&W get their noses in there, because R&W went busted. And so thankfully tonight we've had a wind change, I'm here. But if you think you're gonna get good things from that landfill, forget it, you won't.
Next. Anybody want to comment? Tom, you want to comment on that by chance?
I think here's an example of a homeowner that's being detrimentally impacted by a private entity. They should probably buy these
We
people
can't
out.
hear you.
If they're in such a circumstance where she can't leave the house because of what's coming off of that landfill, this might be a place where the landfill should buy them out. Or
They
the
have
other
tried.
owners.
It's not for sale.
Well, then if it's not for sale,
It's not for sale, and we were there first.
well, that's the same thing that kind of happened to Best Buy in Bloomington.
Yes, I know.
And Cub Foods tried to do the same thing or in Richfield, and the Cub Foods tried to do the same thing in Bloomington, and they blocked it. They would not let Cub. They bought everybody out with one house, and that homeowner would not sell it. So Cub bought up the Holiday grocery store and put their store there. But it took one homeowner not to sell to stop that
Fine.
project.
Christine, do you want to comment?
would not want to be living there either, you know, with the smell. So I think that that's a very valid consideration in property values and et cetera, because, you know, that's some pretty valuable property out there, I believe, otherwise.
We have friends and neighbors out there too, that they make up. The whole woods concept, they would destroy it to beyond belief, and that's not good.
Wayne, would you like to comment?
I've heard that comment before from probably some of your friends. I guess my feeling is numbers are important when you have an issue, and you can find this in all political arenas. And I don't know your full background and the neighbors and so on, but certainly a group like this, you lay the groundwork for more people to get involved. And it's like anything else, when you have an issue, whether it's a minority group or whether it's a political group, the more people get involved that support you, and maybe you've done that, but I guess I would go that direction and say, we need to get together as a group, 50 people, go to the commissioners, sit down, whoever's involved, and say, hey, we're not leaving until something's done. Sometimes you've got to, and that's tough to do, because you really push the button as far as you can, but when there's an issue like that for air and water, it's got to be done. There's no other answer. So I applaud you for being here and asking questions and get us all involved in something. I hope we can help you.
Okay, maybe another question, maybe off, did you have a question?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just have a question as far as, we've read from your questions why you've decided to run, but are there particular issues that you're very interested in dealing with and want to see changed on the board?
I think Christine, you can start.
I personally don't have any issues. I am a small business owner. I've seen, you know, what's happened to small businesses, and pretty much we're getting taxed out of business. Of course, part of the thing with the economy, you know, dropping so drastically 4 years ago, we saw an immediate 30% drop. But I only say that in support of what I'm hearing from other people out there. You know, talking to business owners, talking to homeowners. Their values have dropped $100,000, but their tax percentage has gone up. And that's a real concern. You know, we have to be able to sell our homes at some point, and we don't want to sell for a lot less than we paid for them. And that's kind of a key thing. I talked to a business owner. Her property tax jumped 70%. She pays $1,600 per month, and she's not a retail business. She's paying
Time.
To add to what Chris said, looking at my tax bill, my property taxes in Wright County, my homeowners last year went up 17%, and that's just for the county side. My land, 80 acres that I have over the last 4 years, it's gone up almost 100%. And some of us are senior citizens, if they're 65 and older. Our Social Security is about 3.5% increase. And a lot of the homes in Wright County, a lot of the farmland is owned by people that are on fixed income. And this is really detrimental to our spending power. The budget for Wright County is $100 million, and I know there's some fluff in there at the end of the year, looking at the budget, and we certainly can, as commissioners, can hold the line at least for a couple of years until taxes on real estate and on farmland settles down a little bit. But when you get a 17% increase, farmland, as Chris said, it jumped drastically.
I got involved in this on my local level on Bass Lake. I was elected last year to the board on the no-wake zones. And if you look at some of the, what they're really accomplishing,